So majestic. Hey everybody, Chris the Old Ass Retro Gamer here. If you've ever watched my channel before, you know that I am a huge Star Trek fan. I've been a fan of it ever since I was a small child. I saw the original movie in the theater in 1979 with my parents. Yes, I fell asleep, but to a 4-year-old, the movie's kind of boring. Especially after you've seen Star Wars. I grew up with it, and it's always been a part of my life. I've seen every episode of every show. DS9 for the win, yo. I've seen every movie in the theater, some of them multiple times, and they weren't the good ones. But if you don't know already, 2016 is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. Yes, it's been around for 50 years. Now you know why I call myself the old-ass retro gamer. Give me some diapers and some Geritol. God damn. And to celebrate the 50th anniversary, there is a new Star Trek movie coming out in the reboot series called Star Trek Beyond. It comes out on July 22nd. I am super stoked to see it. You have no idea. It looks amazing. So to show off my love of everything Star Trek, I decided to do a special video about Star Trek video games. But since I talk about nothing but retro and current console games and never anything about the PC, it kind of limits my options because I've never really been a PC gamer. I've dabbled in it here and there. And a lot of great Star Trek games have come out for PC over the years. And I would love to tell you that I've played every single one of them, but I just can't. It's not in the cards. And yet, I didn't want to leave those games out of this video. So, how do we work around this conundrum? Well, that's where my special guests come in. Very special guests. So I contacted the folks over at Trekyards, which is a YouTube channel that focuses on the ships and the tech of Star Trek. And on occasion, they do talk about the Star Trek games that they have played, mostly, you guessed it, PC games. So I enlisted them to lend a helping hand in this video. So without further ado, engage.
Please input command codes. Incoming transmission.
Hey guys, I am Captain Foley.
And I'm Commander Cockings. I suppose sounds very much like our show now, doesn't it? But it's not.
And we are Team Trekyards. We're a web series that basically focuses on the ships and the tech of the Star Trek universe. And that includes games, I guess.
We've played a lot of games. A lot of games have ships. And they're very fun. It's a big thing that Trek games do well.
Indeed.
For this episode, we were going to discuss some good Star Trek games and at least one dishonorable mention. But we each have two good ones that we're going to talk about, and then the poop. So I was going to talk about my second favorite one first, and that is Star Trek Tactical Assault for the PSP. This came out when Bethesda was releasing all of their Star Trek games all around the exact same time, and they all kind of feel the same. The combat to me always felt kind of like Star Trek Online, at least when it came to the starship battles. And they all have the exact same music for some reason. I don't know why, but whatevs. But it's like a third-person view Wing Commander clone, sort of. There's battle missions where you have to go and take out a fleet of ships, or you have to go and do an escort mission. It's kind of standardized, but out of all the ones that Bethesda made, I always thought this one was the most fun because the controls were the most responsive, I guess. I had more fun playing this than Legacy, because I always thought Legacy, I like it, but it's really freaking hard. And Encounters I thought was real clunky, but this one, just for some reason, is the one that I ended up liking the best out of that group of games that Bethesda released for the home consoles. It felt like the most complete game to me. And there's a Nintendo DS version also, which...
Yeah, I have the DS version, so...
So is the second screen a heads-up display? Is that how... Because I saw some footage of it, and I was like, what?
yeah, it is kind of like a heads-up display. It's kind of strange, and I never really got into it much past the first, mission. Mm-hmm. So it's been sitting in the other room forever, and I've never got around to playing it.
This one doesn't have that, but I always enjoyed this one a lot more than most.
First for me would be Star Trek Armada 2. Like I said, I'm a big fan of ships, and this tactical kind of... Yes, there you go. He's got one too. Stronghold, build your base, build your fleet, build your shipyards, build up your fleet, make sure that you Yeah. I don't have my box, unfortunately. I'm stuck with this, but
He's making me jealous. I can't even play the damn thing.
So a really great game, really fun. I can play this. This is my go-to Star Trek game generally, because it's so simple to fire it up and just play a quick game and just have some fun with it. Plus, they've released a new version with better graphics and better sounds called Fleet Operations for it to enhance it a little bit. So yeah, that would be mine. Star Trek Armada 2. I like the ships. I'm not much into the people walking around role playing kind of game. So.
Is that more like a skirmish type of game, or is it like missions and does it have a plot?
There is an ongoing
good story.
There is an ongoing story arc through the whole thing, but it is it's basic. It's basically you build up your starbase and you got to protect it and go out and find certain resources and
kind of like Command and Conquer or any of those sorts of games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Standardized. But the great thing about it, and I've obviously played this. Well, I have played this one a lot as well. Is that they like Armada 2 or like Armada 1, they had 4 distinct races. Each one had different units. This one had 6, and each one had a different campaign that all linked into the main story. So it was pretty in-depth, pretty clever, pretty unique, and had a lot of new ships that were from Faster and from other things. So it was a really big open up the universe. Plus the graphics were great for the time, and this would have been one of mine, but it wasn't. But the mod's also great. You have to code individual ships into this game, and I had a lot of coding and fun different.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But my first ship I got modded to work right was the Aurora from Stargate, and I made the drones at like 180% power, so they blew through every single ship the Borg had in about 2 seconds. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's a good memory I have.
Another great thing about that game is they use voice actors from the show for the storyline, and it's very well done. It's very well done. It's got a great story arc. So
that was one thing the Star Trek games always seemed to have going for it, was it seemed pretty easy to get the original actors to come back and voice the characters. Unlike the Star Wars games, no. You'd be lucky if you got one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Hayden Christensen isn't working very much lately, so I'm sure he's dying for that.
Well, Patrick Stewart did. I think he did like 8 or 9 games.
Oh yeah.
And for a Hollywood actor at the time, that's incredible commitment to the character.
Especially for him. I mean,
that's great.
I'm sure he's pretty busy compared to most of the Star Trek actors.
Yeah, Marder was his one. I was just jumping bang. No, this one's British Marder. I also have British Marder. That's one of my two favourite ones. The very strange. Always thought he was a strange manual.
That was the cover of the box when I bought it.
I like the whole thing, but this is an incredible game. I mean, it was the first. I mean, as all Star Trek fans, we watch a show where they have the captain, the command crew, all these things, and so you put into the position where you have your own crew, you have your own ship, and done so well. I think was such an incredible experience. The graphics were incredible for the time. The gameplay was fun, but not incredible, not that amazing. Then when mods came in, they really. I'm always about the mods, but that's because had so much. You could be any ship, any era, any bridge. They really brought that game to 100 out of 10. The vanilla game's okay, but it really brings it up. And even the story's pretty fun. It's a new take. It's something original, different. You said Patrick Stewart's in it, but your command crew is actually pretty interesting as well. You get to know them a bit, and Data's there at one point, and you get to be the Enterprise D, Galaxy Class, and a Sovereign, so you really get a sense of evolution. And it's just a very, very clever game. I have played hundreds of hours in it, and just like Stewart, I would just turn it on and play again. And I mean, Sovereign versus Katinga, versus 10 Katingas. Well, have a go. Yeah, see who wins.
Yeah, I enjoyed the original game, like the vanilla game, the storyline. I played through the whole thing, got the whole game completed. I didn't know how to do mods or anything, so since then Samuel's kind of added a few mods to mine for me with over Skype, so helping me install them because it's not my thing. But it's a fun game, great tactical simulator for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the few PC ones I've played.
Definitely worth it. But it's such a good little mod that lets you, as your character, you're normally locked into the chair, you can only look around. There's a way where you can do free float or walk around, so you can physically walk around the bridge and go to any angle on any bridge, and they have the nebula and galore and all these extra ones in there. It's such cool things I found to go walk through these 3D environments. That was always big. I just spent time doing that. So.
Cool. Yeah. So when it comes to the mods and stuff, I know when I played it, I didn't really get that far into it. But you start off playing a Federation captain. Do you end up getting to play as other factions, like Romulans or whatever?
No, it's all about that character. It's all about that character, that story. It's quite in depth on that.
Okay.
Because it's trying to make you feel like you're in this world. You're embodying this story. So it's all about you doing your thing. But it's the mods that they do other things. I mean, in mods you can create a Cardassian crew and a Klingon crew, and you can do all those. That's just the scary stuff.
That's pretty rad. So one of my other choices was, I know I brought this one up before, but it's Star Trek Conquest. It's kind of like if you were to take Risk and chess and throw like a Star Trek skin on it. It's like a really cool board game where it's all about, taking over other enemy territories, and you get to build fleets, and it is kind of Command and Conquer light, I guess, because you do have to build like resource management facilities and all this other kind of stuff. But I think what I liked the most about this was what I didn't like about Encounters was the combat. And when it comes to you fighting another faction in the game, the computer gives you the choice of either fighting yourself or having it do the fighting for you. And that was always fun because I hated the controls for when you had to do it yourself. I hated it. It was, but I always liked watching the computer do it. It always took like 5 seconds. And like I would have a game over in about 20 minutes because of that. And you can unlock all these different other factions. I think you just start off with, Federation, Romulan, and Klingon, and you can eventually unlock like the Borg and the Breen and the Dominion, and I think the Ferengi?
I think so for Conquest.
Yeah. And I was just, I for some reason, this one I just really latched onto, and I found it really addictive, and I would couldn't wait to come home from work to play it. It's yeah, whatever. Don't judge me.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I've got that one for the Wii. I've never really played it too much, though, to be honest, but I think it's worth another chance. I should maybe throw it back in. Yeah,
just for some reason I just found it really fun. I don't know why, because usually I'm a run and gun, first person shooter type of guy, and then like this comes along and it's like totally different than anything else I'm playing. Why not?
All right, so now for my number one or most favorite, and that would be anything in the Starfleet Command series. There were 3 games: Starfleet Command Volume 2, Empires at War, which is the best out of the 3, and then Starfleet Command Volume 3, which I never really got too much into. But Empires at War was great. It's a great adaptation of the old tabletop game Starfleet Battles, which my brother and I always play up even to this day. And tabletop games take a lot of time.
That was the FASA one, right?
No, this isn't the FASA one. This is the other one. This is by Armadillo Design Company.
Oh.
It's the other Star Trek tabletop board game. Amarillo Design Board, not Armadillo. Amarillo. Anyway.
Amargosa?
That'd be good, man.
But no, it's a great way to speed up a game of Starfleet Battles instead of having to write everything down and figure things out and shield damage. This converts all that. It's what me and my brother had talked about for years that we would love to do, and somebody came along and did it for us, which is amazing. Plus, there's mods for this as well. You can get the multi-era pack, which you can load up the game with just Starfleet battleships that aren't available in the other game, just TOS ships, just Next Generation ships, or movie era, and then the multi-era mod where you can have all of the ships at your disposal and just
I would like that one.
Fight any. It's amazing, yeah. So that one is a game that if I start playing it, it's just I get sucked in and I am gone for hours. Nobody can bother me. But yeah, that is the ultimate Star Trek game in my opinion. Samuel hasn't played Empires at War or Starfleet Command Volume 2.
I've played the first one, loved the first one when I bought the other one in a bargain bin at a sort of Walmart style store for like £6. That was the first one I bought. And it was great. I was like, wow, this is fun. A bit slow, but fun, and the ships just go...
Yeah, but they have realistic turning arcs. And
I was going to say, that makes it more realistic.
Yeah.
No, but what's the guys that had the ECM with the weapon that would attack, that would, you got that force field around your ship, and then you go close to the enemy, and then it would lip off their shields.
The plasmatic pulsar device, the ISC.
Possibly the blue guys who could. No, the browny green orangey people. I love ramming to ships.
That would be because this game you have the Kinzinti, the Lyrans, the Gorn, the Hydrons,
great races,
Interstellar Concordium, the Andromedans. So it's really cool. But they have a lot of cool weapons, like you said. There's a plasmatic pulsar device. Yeah, which like grabs onto your ship and just punches it basically with plasma beams. So lots of cool weapons and really fantastic Star Trek universe games, in my opinion.
Okay. One of the ones that very diametrically opposed almost is Elite Force. Number 1, not number 2. Number 1. Specifically because I love Voyager. I think it's a great show and a great premise, and anything on Voyager is good as an extra piece. They did a few DS9 games, but this game, you have the entire Voyager cast come back, which is incredible. I mean, for a video game budget, that's pretty incredible. Great story, really amazing art direction. All different levels have such a unique feel. All weapons you've gained on each level have such a unique feel. And if you go on the cheats, you can get all the guns in the first level, and you just get to because at the start you're a fake Borg sphere or cube, and all your weapons eventually stop working. But if you use a cheat to get all the best guns, you can use them, but the Borg still adapt, even though it's a cheat. So it's like, damn it, the quantums don't even destroy you. So that was, yeah. But it's a great mix of Trek and FPS. You wouldn't think that would work necessarily, but it creates such a fine balance, and I don't even know how they did it. Yeah, it's just really fun, and an overall amazing game. Elite Force 2 was pretty good, but much more just a generic sort of, these are some baddies, we're going to shoot them. There was much intricate plot.
Yeah, Elite Force 2 had better graphics, but that was about it. The storyline and stuff was not as good.
Yeah, I own that one for the PS2, and it's pretty fun. I was stoked to be able to play a first-person Star Trek game. I mean, that blew my mind back in the day.
I did it right.
Yeah, that's what I got. I didn't think the PS2 version would work because I always thought that was the way I saw the PC version working, and I was like, that PS2 can't do that, and it did. If it can do Half-Life, why can't it do Elite Force? Mm-hmm. Dishonorable mentions time. Time for some Duke. I bought this game specifically for this video. I've always wanted it. I never played it back in the day, and this came out in the 80s, or maybe was it the early 90s? Early 90s. Damn. Okay. And I just never played it. I never bought it, even though I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I just never got my hands on it. And so I bought it specifically for this video, hoping that it would be in one of the top two. And no. Not at all. Star Trek The Next Generation for the Nintendo. It's basically a bunch of mini games. And it is wholly terrible. You want to enter orbit, you have to fly through rings like in Superman 64. You want to beam up some survivors of an environmental holocaust, you have to play like this weird version of Whack-A-Mole. It's the dumbest, most badly designed game that I've ever played when it comes to Star Trek. And I've played some poopy games in my day, but this is just like... I was playing it for about 20 minutes and I said, done.
The worst 99 cents I've ever spent.
Oh, yeah. No, this was a little bit more. I definitely paid way too much. But yeah, the graphics are terrible. The play control is god-awful. The music, you only get like the first 30 seconds of the Next Generation theme, and it is just like, it will make you want to rip your ears off. It is just, ugh. And the sound effects will make your ears bleed. So, yeah, it's just like, I cannot say anything good about it at all.
So it's a torture device.
Basically, this is the Tantalus field in cartridge form,
or the Klingon Mind Sifter.
How can you let this go on?
Ooh.
All right, so time for my dishonorable mention. I don't have it with me. I actually should have grabbed it, but it's the Starship Creator, where you get to create your own starship and then take it on missions. He's got Warp 2. He's got the second version of the game, and I guess that's his dishonorable mention there. So we do think alike. That's good.
Oh, I have a second one, but I was hoping you might.
It was kind of fun to play mix and match with the parts and make a neat-looking ship, but it was very limited. And then they send you on little missions where you have to read text. Like, who wants to read a book when you're playing?
It's Star Trek, not Zork.
And then you watch your ship move across the little star map, and then you get another ship.
Slowly.
And then, yes, some battle. It's ridiculous. And the graphics are atrocious. It's been so long since I played it. Honestly, I should have thrown it in for a refresher just so I could nitpick it some more, but it's awful.
It doesn't sound like much of a game.
No, it's not.
Well, I played the sequel, the amazing sequel. It's exactly what you said, but what graphics and what gameplay. And I bought this one thinking, wow, Star Trek Creator, that sounds cool. Make your own awesome spaceships, but it just has a few basic presets, and the gameplay is not gameplay. It's just watch a thing go across the screen. There's nothing to it. Absolute garbage. I think I got my mum to buy it for £2, and I thought that was a jip. At like 14, that was a pretty strong opinion. Garbage. That's not my dishonorable mention. That would have been that's my double dishonorable mention. Double dishonorable. I have dishonorable, and that is legacy.
Oh!
I had Legacy here because I don't mind Legacy.
Sinner.
Okay, so I will give my reasons. Now, this game I was so amazingly looking forward to. You cannot believe. 5 captains, the graphics, outstanding. My computer couldn't even run it. I had to buy a new graphics card for this game. That's how excited I was. So I put down some serious money for this. Start it up, looks incredible. I now do 3D. I still think it's beautiful. I still think it's a beautiful game. Start playing the story. Okay, good story. I'm liking it. Everyone sounds good. Okay, it's getting kind of difficult. Okay, it's getting kind of boring. Okay, these are shit controls. Okay, I'm stopping playing now. It's that bad. So I had to do a cheat to even play. There was a great, very, very early mod where you could give yourself a galaxy class from the first mission. So I was able to be OP until TNG. And that had a lot of fun, because blew through the enemies and go faster, and that was really fun. I got TNG and I was underpowered and I was crap again. When I was OP, I enjoyed it. The controls are awful, and just the amount of hype for what it was, it's just like,
Okay, I gotta jump in.
Yep.
This is the PC version of the game, but Star Trek Legacy is the reason I bought an Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Those controls are bad. That's right, no.
Exactly. I was just gonna get. I was so opposed to buying another something Microsoft because I figured Bill Gates was rich enough. Screw him. But then when this game came out, I'm like, I need a 360 for that purpose. So I got it. I enjoyed the game with the controller. It's not so bad. And then a year or two later, I picked up the PC version. I've never actually put this in a computer yet, but I've heard there's awesome mods for it, so I thought I'd at least grab it. Like it was kind of in a bargain bin again. It was $15 or something, so not a big deal. I actually really enjoy the game. I still play it on my 60-inch plasma TV. I set it to 3D mode, and it actually looks really good in 3D. The game's not designed for 3D, but the Samsung converts it, and it's just fun to play ship battles with.
That's kind of rad.
So yeah, it's. I don't have a problem with the game, so I'm very disappointed in you, Samuel.
But you haven't played you haven't the controls.
I know. I can imagine the controls would suck for that.
The thing is, I was coming off Bridge Commander that had incredible controls. That was incredibly intuitive weapons, had custom everything, had quantum for everything was there. And then you come to this, and it has rechargeable phases that last 5 seconds, 2 torpedoes each side that don't do anything. It's boring as anything. And just because of the graphics, just because of the good voiceovers, this is such a fun. If this had been given this treatment with graphical, this would have been the best game ever. I would always go back to this because it's actually fun. But that said, the mods do improve it a lot. Doesn't beat the overall quality of the game, but it's still beautiful. I'll still give them that. It did a great job, and they still look good today. So it's more for a disappointment and a letdown on promises and potential. Had the potential, they just had done, like you said with Starfleet Command, they broke it at number 3. They just did 2 again, but better graphics, would have been perfect. Same for this for British Commander.
Yeah, I've only played the 360 version. I will admit that it did take me a little while to get into it because, like I said, I found it extremely hard at first. Mm-hmm. But once I got into the Kirk era stuff, that's where I thought it kind of took off for me at least. But I didn't think it was that bad.
Again, PC, if you can't control it, it really doesn't go well.
And one of the beefs for me, and it's really weird because I really love starships. I love seeing starships. But that's all you see in that game. Mm-hmm. There's no cutscenes with people talking. It's just talking over a ship scene. It's just, after a while, that's a little much for me. And so it
would have been nice to see a CGI Kirk telling you about the mission briefing and not just seeing the Enterprise fly by and hear him talking. It obviously sounds like he's talking in a recording booth. It just, that was the one thing, and he was just kind of stardate this. Ugh.
And there was old Kirk voice. You can tell he's obviously modern day Kirk and trying to play classic.
Probably had a really thick neck too.
It was clever. It was a clever game. They tried to do something clever.
Yeah, I like the fact that it did try to combine all 5 of the shows into one game. They haven't done many like that, have they? Not that I can think of. That's the only one so far, right?
Well, there's Legacy, and there's the other one that came out at the same time for the PlayStation. It was called Encounters.
Yeah, I have that one too. I never really got that far in it because I couldn't stand the controls for that one.
That's another interesting one, but they tried to do the same kind of storyline with all the captains, just slightly different gameplay and stuff for that. So yeah. Well,
there you have it. There's some good Star Trek games, and there are some crap ones out there too.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to hear more about our thoughts on Star Trek games, we've done a podcast on it, and we've also done our top 10s. So there'll be probably links below, I assume. in the description.
Yeah, no, we do regular weekly top 10s, and we had to cover this. We went top 5 modded, top 5 unmodded. They vary hugely, and I think our faces are kind of like, at some moments, was pretty fun. Just as you guys completely exploded on me for Legacy, that happens a bit there. So tune in and check out our top 10s if you like games. We've got them.
Thank you, Chris, for having us on your show.
Well, thanks for taking time out of your schedules to do this episode with me. I really appreciate it. I'm a big fan of your channel. I watch it all the time, so it was a big thrill for me to be able to interact with you guys like this. This is the first video of this type for, at least for my channel, so it's really awesome that you guys are able to do this for me.
Cool.
I want to send a huge thank you to Captain Foley and Commander Cockings for assisting in this video. It was the first time I've ever done a Skype call in my life. They're old pros. And it was awesome to have real people to talk to about games that respond right back when you talk about them. So that might happen a lot more often on this channel. It was a blast. And you will be doing yourself a great disservice by not subscribing to their channel immediately. Are you a big Trek fan? That's what I like to say. What are your favorite Star Trek games? What are your favorite Star Trek movies? What are your favorite Star Trek TV shows? What is your favorite Trek anything? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, give the video a thumbs up if you like what you see. Lets me know that you like this type of video, and therefore I might do more of them in the future. Share the video on social media, because the good of the many outweigh the good of the few. Or the one. On the Facebook and the Reddit and the Stumble Upon and the whatever, Snapchat. And most of all, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I appreciate each and every one of you that clicks that little button, because I have been, and always shall be, your friend. So until next time, I'm Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, saying, live long and prosper. For the first time, I actually wrote down notes.
Yeah. We're rubbing off on you already.
I know, right?
I don't need my second screen for once. Normally I have to record stuff, but I can just look at I can just look at you guys. That's a first, actually.
I'm sorry. Call me a millennial. I did not know there were batteries in here.